Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Grace and Lana, Grace the Astrologer here. And today's video is going to be about the full moon in Gemini. On December 4th at 6:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the full moon will be taking place at 13 degrees of Gemini. Now, the full moon will also be making aspects. Well, the full moon actually doesn't make any aspects, but Mercury, the ruler, is making some aspects. So we're going to talk about that in the video. Now, before I get into breaking down the full moon and giving many horoscopes, if you have any questions about your birth chart, if you want to know how this full moon or any other astrological transit will affect you, click that link in the description box to book a reading. I can answer any questions that you have about yourself, your life, your chart, any transits, literally anything via astrology in your birth chart. So tap in. Also, tap into my Patreon. For $15 a month, you get to ask me one question that can be used as a mini birth chart reading. I upload a lot of my notes on there. In 2026, I have a lot of exclusive content coming for my Patreon subscribers. So if you like me and you like my content, it's worth the interest to subscribe. So tap in. Now, let's get into this full moon. What is a full moon? The full moon is the most intense point of the month. It represents a culmination. It represents visibility, exposure, a peak. It's a climax. It's a heightened period of time. The full moon takes place when the sun is opposing the moon. Things can reach a peak. Things might come to light or be revealed, or you might notice that something bubbles over. The moon is bright, and when you think about things related to the moon, like your emotions, the body, the daily flows of life, those things really tend to become emphasized during a full moon. And also because, like I said, the full moon is when the sun opposes the moon, so this can spill tension between two houses or two themes or that overall axis that full moon is in. So for example, if the full moon is taking place in your 7th house, that might spill over into first house related themes, so on and so forth. So, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Gemini is a mutable air sign. It is Mercury in Gemini. Well, Gemini energy is more like airy. It represents duality. And during this full moon in a mercurial sign in Gemini, this can bring more intense conversations. News, messages, gossip might be intense. It might spike. Notice increased efforts and energies there. Decisions that may have been foggy or confusing suddenly have like realizations, especially thinking about the fact that we're coming up off this Mercury retrograde. Mercury is retrograde right now, and I'm recording this on Monday, November 24th. Mercury is retrograde until the 29th, which is literally 5 days before this lunation. So it's interesting that, you know, I really feel like we're going to get some clarity from the retrograde now that we're having this full moon in a in a mercurial sign. People are going to be talking a lot, sometimes too much. And sometimes people might be revealing things that maybe they shouldn't be saying, like, you know, telling secrets or spilling truth, but maybe truth that don't need to be spilled at that exact moment. The moon is very fast moving. It's scattered, and it reveals things through words, like text messages, slips of the tongue, emails, rumors, questions, and accidental moments of clarities with the full moon in with the full moon in Gemini. Gemini is, again, ruled by Mercury, which is the planet that represents communication, learning, processing, narratives, logic, perception, how we make sense of things. And a full moon in Gemini can tend to expose misunderstandings, information gaps. Again, Gemini is the twins, and Mercury is associated with duality. So even thinking about like two options or two paths for you to choose, or even, you know, some contradictions. And when you finally get the clarity or put the pieces together, it's like, oh, so that's what that was. That's what's been going on. It all makes sense now. Like I said, Gemini energy is a split sign. Gemini is the twins, and it often gives two sides. So this full moon might force you to pick a lane, to sort through mixed messages or confusion, to clear mental clutter overall, or to break out of analysis paralysis. Like if you struggle with making decisions or making moves or just getting things to start, this could be a really good time. If you've been juggling a lot mentally, this can be a time for you to drop the things that don't matter and really focus on and get clear with what exactly is important for you. This can definitely bring a lot of social stimulation and even the potential for social overwhelm. You'll see a lot of talking, texting, invitations, errands, short distance travel. People are going to be busy and restless and even maybe reckless. Attention spans are going to be shorter than usual. Everybody's going to be moving around and being busy like they're late for something. So just be very careful moving around during this full moon. We all know that the full moon is the time of the month when people start acting crazy. And thinking about, again, we're coming up off this Mercury retrograde. We're still in the shadow period. We're still dealing with a lot of these things. Like, just be mindful of that. And again, like, Mercury is communication. And this full moon can bring confessions, secrets being revealed, clarifying conversations. You might be confronting some misunderstandings. You could find yourself asking necessary questions and finally getting the information that you need to properly analyze or to move forward with the situation. Learning, studying, thinking, writing, things like that might feel more intense at this time. You might find yourself hyper fixating on something, or even you might find yourself being distracted and not able to focus on anything at all. And information can push you toward a conclusion, or you might, again, find something out, something could be revealed. Relationship wise, with this full moon being in a mercurial sign, this could be a really good time to maybe say something that you have been holding back on. You know, it's a great time to be honest, be open, be vulnerable. A full moon is a release. It's time to let things go. So especially, you know, if you've been holding on to something, a thought, an idea, a conception, a conversation, like, let that shit out. If somebody has been confusing, a situation has been confusing, you can clear through the mixed messages and really get some clarity with the situation. And even, you know, thinking about this full moon representing such intense energy, this could be a good time for you to see how somebody is communicating under pressure. When it comes to work, you know, emails, requests, tasks might pile up. You might have some unexpected or last minute deadlines. A project can be completed. It might reach its finishing point or even its breaking point. You might realize, like, damn, I really can't do this. I got to let this go. I got to delegate this to somebody else, or maybe just remove myself from this project or this thing as a whole. And even with work, like, you might find yourself adjusting to plans more quickly, body and mood wise, because again, we're thinking about the moon here. Sleep might be lighter. Like, I know people always say that they struggle with sleep during full moons. You might find that your nervous system is overstimulated. You might want to move, to pace, to mentally engage with things. And it might be hard to sit still or quiet your mind. And things like meditation, slowing down, retreating, spending time alone can really help with some of that busybody, crazy energy. And, you know, Mercury's direct. Like I said, Mercury will be direct. The retrograde ended 4 days before this lunation begins. And Mercury is also in a trine with Saturn and Jupiter. So even thinking about, you know, how a Gemini energy is so chaotic, mutable energy is chaotic, but since it's in a trine with Saturn, which is now also direct, this can really clear through some of that confusion and mental fog. With Mercury direct in general, loose ends can snap into place, misunderstandings can be cleared, decisions and the moves that you make can feel grounded and supported, communication can become more efficient, and it's like, okay, now I get it, now it makes sense. Saturn is a grounding energy. A trine to Saturn can stabilize Mercury. It can strengthen the logic. It can give structure to your thoughts and your ideas. It can improve your discipline and productivity. It can help you, again, commit to a choice. Because remember, Gemini is all about choices. And this can bring clarity, strategy, long-term thinking, practical solutions, discernment, strategy, calculation, a plan. And this is when the scattered energy of Gemini can become coherent, become organized, become realistic and strategic, period. And Jupiter opened doors. Like, Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is growth, opportunities. So Mercury in a trine with Jupiter as well can bring optimism. It can help you broaden your perspective and your worldview. It can bring positive news. It can bring opportunities. It can bring good timing. It can bring generosity within the context of conversations and communication as a whole. And things that might have been stuck or slowed down due to the retrograde can now make moves. Now, Jupiter is retrograde within itself, so some of these things might not necessarily happen super quickly. Even again, thinking about Saturn, Saturn is slow, but you can really build things up and do what you need to do and have the success to do so. Because with Jupiter being, with Mercury being supported by Jupiter and Saturn, conversations can flow, people will be receptive and eager to listen, negotiations can work well in your favor, misunderstandings can become resolved, apologies or explanations can feel heartfelt and sincere. Contracts and agreements and business and negotiations and all of those things can become favorable. And like this really can bring positive energy for communication, again, especially after a retrograde. And even again, thinking about how full moons are a culmination, they're a revelation, they're a peak. This gives productive revelations, but not chaos. So you can have honest maturity in a conversation. If you've been feeling confused or misunderstood with somebody or something, you can get a solid answer. People can explain themselves properly so there is no confusion. Information or something that you need might arrive at that perfect ideal moment. A storyline can reach a point of understanding, not necessarily just confusion. Like things can be so constructive with this. And again, Gemini is choice. So with this energy of making a decision, Jupiter and Saturn can help, because Saturn is going to help you make the commitment, whereas Jupiter is going to confirm like, oh yeah, you made the right choice. And the decisions that you make can now be stable, well-informed, long-term, aligned with growth, but you can be supported in what you're doing. And even again, thinking about this connection with Saturn and Jupiter to Mercury, this combination really favors launching plans, booking and connecting with clients, signing contracts, building systems, scheduling, writing, editing, long-term planning, teaching or studying something, because you get both the precision of Saturn, but also the abundance and confidence that can come with Jupiter. Collectively, this can mean that conversations can shift from a more emotional to a logical perspective. Problems can be fixed instead of being ignored. The truth can come out, but it's not like, oh, somebody blurted out something that they weren't supposed to say. But that's like, okay, I'm revealing the truth, but I'm coming with the facts. I'm coming correct. Businesses and contracts and business moves and negotiations and all of those things can get the green light. And if you're trying to make moves or conceptualize something, you can actually get it done. And a decision or a choice that you have to make, the answer can become undeniable. It's like, damn, I've been twiddling my thumbs. I've been going back and forth between this thing and that thing. And it's like, now I just got to do it. Now I just got to do it. So yeah. That is the full moon in Gemini in a nutshell. Again, takes place on November 4th. Oh, shit, not November 4th. I just lied. It takes place on December 4th at 6:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 13 degrees of Gemini. And I'm looking right now, December 4th is a Thursday. So, now that I broke down the transit generally, this is usually where I would tell y'all to go subscribe to all of my platforms. Yeah, go follow me, Moon World Mommy, on everything. Subscribe to my Patreon. Click that link in the description to book a reading. All of the things are there. I'm great at my job. And if you want my astrological advice to hit for you personally, that's where you can find me. Now, let's get into the horoscopes, the meat and potatoes of this thing. If you're an Aries rising, then this is going to be taking place in your third house of Gemini. So this can bring a major conversation, a message, or a piece of news that can land with clarity. If you're dealing with things related to your siblings or your cousins, you can have things be resolved smoothly. So let's say during Mercury retrograde, you started beefing with your brother. Now you can come to a conclusion. Now you can apologize. Now we can wrap this up and the family can be solid before Thanksgiving. If you watch this before Thanksgiving. A contract or paperwork might move forward. Like maybe you've been needing to get something done or complete something and now you can actually do that. Travel plans or transportation issues might get sorted. Let's say your car has been broke down and you're Aries rising, maybe you get it fixed during this full moon. And again, a decision that you have been circling around, like, you got to make that move, because the third house specifically is associated with like thinking, processing, decision making, learning, communication, things of that nature. So yeah, again, if you really have a decision to make or something to reinforce, you can do so. If you're a Taurus rising, Gemini is in your second house. So this can bring a lot of clarity when it comes to your pocketbook, your money, your finances. Even, you know, when thinking about yourself, the second house is sustenance. The second house is your needs, safety, security, the way that you feed yourself, how you provide for yourself and take care of yourself outside of just your physical body, in a sense. So that could be something that could be focused on. Payments, invoices, or missing funds can be resolved. A profitable idea, or even, you know, your skills can become validated or supported in some sort of way. A new financial move or idea can be easier to commit to. Maybe you've been thinking about investing into something, or maybe moving your money into a different account, and now you're going to do so. Even thinking about like new income sources or opportunities can definitely show up with good timing for you as well. If you are a Gemini rising, Gemini's in the first house, you can have a personal breakthrough or a revelation pertaining to yourself or your identity, your life goals. You can speak up and use your voice and actually be heard, and people can pay attention to you. Health, routines, where your mindset can shift and you can find more clarity as it pertains to yourself and your life and what you want to do or the things that you're trying to accomplish. You might choose a new direction or carve a new path after being indecisive or confused about something, and people can see you more clearly. Misunderstandings might just, you know, be bypassed. If you're a Cancer rising, this is taking place in your 12th house. I'm a Cancer rising. So this might bring some hidden information or something that can resurface for you in a helpful way. Not necessarily resurface, but just surface in general. Even thinking about like the 12th house representing like fears, insecurities, mental health, things like that. If you have like any fears or any mental blocks, you can look at something from a different perspective, or again, maintain clarity in that area. You might have a behind the scenes conversation. Something might be revealed. Somebody could be vulnerable. You might learn a secret that could clarify something for you. You might release an idea or a habit or something that's not constructive, because remember, the 12th house is self-undoing. You might let go of something that is not helpful or productive for you. And you might even notice that you're having like some spiritual insights, some downloads, some things to pay attention to. So I just be in tune with yourself and the inner workings of your mind if you're a Cancer rising. If you're a Leo rising, this is in your 11th house. So there could be something that happens with friends. Maybe, you know, you and your friend have had a disconnection, and now there's clarity within the context of what happened. Networking and connecting with other people can actually bring you real opportunities. Or, you know, you might be wrapping up something with a friend or a collaborator or a project or something like that. This can be a really good time to get clarity with your friendships and connections, and learn like what friends or people are in your life to actually help you versus who's a liability, who's an asset. A goal, the 12th house, not the 12th house, the 11th house is the house that represents like your hopes, your dreams, your pure ambitions, your desires, things like that. So you might find that a major goal that you have been working toward, or a project, could hit a turning point, or something significant could happen there. You might find yourself getting support from a mentor, from a community or a group or somebody or something, or your friends could just come to help you out or support you. If you're a Virgo rising, this is taking place in your 10th house. So, you know, there could be something that happens within your career. Maybe you're getting a lot of attention or spotlight. Maybe you're releasing something or putting something out into the world within the context of your professional life. A boss, a client, an authority figure might finally give you that clear direction that you have been seeking in a specific situation. If you've noticed that things have been slow or stalled out within the context of your work or your workload, you can finally see some forward momentum and actually get shit done. Your public image could get a boost through maybe some press, through some communication, through some things of that nature. Even thinking about your goals in your professional life, a long-term professional decision could become obvious. You might make a significant move career-wise, anything like that. If you're a Libra rising, Gemini is in your 9th house. So this might bring up things related to travel, the law, or educational matters. If you've had disconnects in any of those areas, something might be cleared up, or there can be a conclusion or a revelation. You can get confirmation about teaching or educative or publishing goals. A belief or a worldview might shift. You might start to look at something or the world from a different perspective, or you might release something that you thought or have known to be true. Maybe you learn something else and it's like, all right, I'm not believing in that no more. Now I'm believing in this. Even thinking about like supporters, a mentor, a teacher, a guide, an advisor can share some helpful insight and really help you make a decision or work towards something. And you can have like good news come from maybe somewhere far away, or if you're a part of an institution or anything like that, there could be something that comes with that. If you are a Scorpio rising, Gemini is in your 8th house. So there could be, let's say you owe some money, or you have debts, or there's something that you have, like maybe your finances are intertwined with somebody else's in some sort of way. You can resolve these things. You can pay back what you owe. You can separate your money from this other person's money or something like that. You might have a vulnerable or intense conversation that can help deepen trust, help you reveal something, connect with somebody in some sort of way. A secret, or maybe somebody has been holding on to something unspoken might come out productively and you can work through it. Insurance, legal, tax, estate matters might start to move forward, and you might, gain clarity about somebody's support, or what somebody is doing with you, how they're helping you, what their relationship is with you, and maybe the things they're providing or giving you. If you're a Sag rising, Gemini is your 7th house. So this can bring a lot of clarity in a relationship. Let's say you've been confused about whether you should stay with your girlfriend. You realize, I can't deal with her. She's annoying. I'm about to let her go. Your partner might also reveal something. Or even just, the 7th house, yes, is relationships and partnerships. Everybody emphasizes the 7th house is like, oh, this is your husband, your wife, your spouse. Yes, it is. But the 7th house is the house that represents all of our relationship dynamics in the way that you literally relate to and connect with anybody and everybody on a basic one-to-one level. So there could be clear communication with anybody. This could be a romantic partner. This could be a business partner. This could be your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your baby mama side piece, anybody. A communication could be, something could be revealed. Somebody could be communicating honestly. You might, get clarity about where you stand with somebody and what the overall relationship dynamic is between you and somebody else. If you need to make a decision, should I stay in this partnership? Should I propose? Should I leave? You can get clarity with that. And if you're dealing with any like contracts, negotiations, or any agreements, something within that area can be finalized as well. If you're a Capricorn rising, Gemini is in the 6th house. So if things have been crazy or chaotic at work, now could be a really good time for you to organize these tasks and manage things and put them together easily. The 6th house is also your health, your physicality, your routines, productivity. So if you have any questions about your health, or if you've maybe started a new routine or regimen, now can be a time to be diligent with that. You might find yourself breaking a bad habit or getting out of a mental loop. Even thinking about like work, the 6th house is work. So like coworkers, assistants, subordinates might finally get their act together. The people that are under you are often seen in the 6th house. So if you are in charge of anybody or anything like that, there could be some positive things that come with that. You might find yourself finding a practical solution for something that stresses you out or overwhelms you. You might be able to manage your productivity or your time or your habits or just your overall effectiveness or even procrastination a little bit better. If you are an Aquarius rising, this is taking place in your 5th house. So romance can become clearer. Let's say you've been dating a guy, but you don't know what the fuck y'all got going on. Now you can get an answer. Now you can know, all right, if he's been being confusing or playing around or beating the bush, like, you might finally get a solid answer. If you're a creative, let's say you've been really confused about a project, or you don't know how to conceptualize something, you don't know if you should do this or do that. A creative idea can reach a breakthrough. Conversations with children or dealing with children, let's say, you know, your kid been acting up in school and you've been trying to figure out what's the best plan for her. You might come to a peak, or you and your child might have a sense of understanding if y'all have had a disconnect with each other. You know, if you've been flirting with somebody, or you're in a situation with somebody, you might, you know, maybe it becomes something real. Maybe you decide to leave it alone. The 5th house is the house that represents fun, joy, pleasure, all the things that you love and enjoy. And you might get clarity about what you actually like, or what is pleasing to you, what feels good, what do you enjoy. And lastly, if you are a Pisces rising, Gemini is the sign on your 4th house. So home or family matters can become clearer. Let's say you've been confused about where to move and you finally pick out the apartment building that's perfect for you. Or, you know, let's say, again, back to that example with your son. Your son's been acting out in school, so y'all come up with a care plan. Y'all come up with something to do to make it so he's not stressing his teacher out, but also his needs are being met in school. A domestic decision, a move, a repair, something related to your family dynamics. You might come to a final decision related to that. You might understand your parent, your father, your family member better. There could be some things that happen within the context of your home and family life. Or you might even find yourself even thinking about the 4th house is a house that's associated with like secrets and hidden things. So even like a private conversation with somebody might smooth over some tension. You might find yourself feeling grounded, returning to nature, returning to your home, returning to safety or security after a sense of chaos or something, you know, intense happened. So yeah, all in all, that is what everybody can expect from this full moon in Gemini. In the comments, tell me what house this is in for you and what you plan on doing with this energy if you made it this long. Thank you for watching. Love you guys down. I appreciate all of y'all and all the support. Like I said, all of my links are in the description. Links to book a reading, links to my Patreon, links to all of my social media platforms if you want to connect with me outside of YouTube. And yeah, thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Mwah.